So, you've decided to get into Doctor Who, but you don't quite know where to start. Now, the show has been around long enough for there to be plenty of places to start, from the classic series to the TV movie, and of course the new series. In this guide, I'm going to detail where a new fan of the show, such as yourself, can start from regarding the show, and where you personally would like to start is up to your own personal preferences. But don't worry, because I'm here to help, and here's my guide on where to start with Doctor Who.
I'm the Doctor, by the way. What's your name?
Rose.
Nice to meet you, Rose. Run for your life.
It's completely terrifying, but it's so exciting. He said I was brilliant and I could change the world. So many places I've been, there's so much more to see. We got galaxies and planets and moons, and an awful lot of running to do.
Yes! Now that's what I want. That's what you're going with.
So, we're going to start with the most recent Doctor to exit the TARDIS, Jodie Whittaker, the first female actress to canonically take control of the TARDIS. Now, say what you will about Jodie's era, whilst there are several episodes that people will gladly throw in a trash compactor, Jodie's first season is actually not the worst place to start if you're new to the show, because there's no classic monsters or returning characters either, so you can jump in and watch from there. Of course, you can go back to the other seasons, but do that when you're ready, or if there's a returning villain character you were previously unaware of. So, if you want another place to start with Doctor Who, then where else than the very beginning? So in 1963, An Unearthly Child was the first story in Doctor Who history to be broadcast all the way back in that particular time period. Now, if you actually want to start here, then that might be a little bit tricky due to some rights issues, as this actual story, An Unearthly Child, is not present in the iPlayer back catalogue of Doctor Who content dubbed the Whoniverse. But if you have access to BritBox, then I would highly recommend watching it there. Be quick though, because I don't know how long it will be on there for. The reason for the story's absence on iPlayer? Well, the writer's son, who inherited the rights to his father's work, has some colourful opinions about Doctor Who at the moment, shall we say, and I don't think he's exactly too thrilled about Shooter Gatwa being the Doctor. The 1996 Doctor Who TV movie, despite the low viewing rates, actually has its own charm, in the form of Paul McGann, who made his debut as the 8th Doctor, and to this day remains the only incarnation yet to get his own series, unless Russell has some plans for this to happen. Anyway, the TV movie features the regeneration from Sylvester McCoy to Paul McGann, the debut for Eric Roberts as the Master, and more or less stands on its own. With the exception of the 7th Doctor and the Master, there aren't many connections to the classic series, so you can start here and then you have two options. You can either move on to the new series with Eccleston, or if you want to be a very dedicated fan of the show, then get into the 8th Doctor's adventures in audio form with Big Finish, as that's where you'll find a lot of his important stories. Whilst he didn't get a lot of live-action content after the new series began, the audio dramas are a great place to start if you want to dive into McGann's Doctor especially.
I promise you, Mr. Smith, we will find a way out. If we can travel to the moon, then we can travel back. There's got to be a way.
It's not Smith. That's not my real name.
Who are you then?
I'm the Doctor.
Me too, if I ever pass my exams.
Okay, for those of you who are decorated Whovians, this may be a strange place to start from, and I can understand that. But for newbies, let me explain. Series 3 was David Tennant's second series as the 10th Doctor, and whilst he was the main incarnation for Series 2, that mostly carried on from Eccleston's time as the Time Lord, and Rose also carried over, having been with 9 beforehand. So if you'd rather go into Tennant's era without having to know too much about prior stories, then I'd recommend this as a good starting point. This is also the first episode to feature Martha Jones, who remains to this day one of my favourite companions in the show. This is also the first appearance of the Dradoon in New Who, so I would definitely recommend this as a good starting point for a great Doctor, a great companion, and a brilliant foe.
I'm the Doctor.
Okay, next up we have the first episode of the Moffat era, the 11th Hour. Now for many people this is definitely a great place to start with the show because we've got a new Doctor, a new companion and a whole new attitude. Matt Smith's Doctor, the 11th of course, is arguably as beloved as David Tennant, and if you wanted to start here then you won't need to know too much about prior seasons going into this, as Series 5 features mostly original stories and the ones that feature returning monsters don't require too much knowledge beforehand for you to enjoy it. But yeah, if you wanted to start at a good place on the show then Matt Smith's time is a good place to go from.
Right? But me personally, it's not a bad place to start. Not to go into Monster of the Week stuff, but there is a really interesting arc that starts at Fish Fingers and Custard. You can do this for him. Where Matt Smith starts at Fish Fingers and Custard, goes through Pandorica, through Christmas, into the stuff I did in season 6.
Run!
Okay, next up we have the start of the show's modern era with the first episode of New Who, Rose. Now I'm sure a lot of decorated Whovians are going to have a go at me because I have ignored the sacred rule of never skipping Eccleston, but that's not really the case. Now whilst Tennant and Smith remain my two favourite Doctors, Christopher Eccleston is brilliant in his first and sadly only season on screen, and much like Matt Smith's first season, Eccleston's series is mostly comprised of original stories with original villains not seen in the classic series, with the exception of the Daleks on 2 separate occasions, and the nesting consciousness in the first episode. But in the case of the latter, you don't really need any foreknowledge of who they are, and the Daleks, you can mostly figure out who they are anyway, because a lot of classic Whovians will tell you who they are.
I don't know if I can save your life this time.
Worldwide premiere.
And now we come to what is the most recent piece of Doctor Who content, the 60th anniversary specials along with the upcoming Series 14. Now recently there was the news of there being a reset for the new era, which is understandable seeing as the show is going to air on Disney Plus as well. But if you wanted to start somewhere with Doctor Who without having any knowledge of prior stuff, then the 60th specials in Series 14/Season 1 are a great place to start. And if you need to know anything else, then you can either go look it up or go and have a look at one of the other places to start that I've recommended in this video. And that is my Newbie's Guide to Doctor Who. If this helped you in any way, then be sure to let me know in the comments below, and while you're at it, then be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any more videos, and be sure to check out the community tab section where I'm going to be posting news on upcoming videos and some more film and television stuff too. But in the meantime, thanks for watching and I will see you soon.
I'm the Doctor, by the way. What's your name?
Rose.
Nice to meet you, Rose. Run for your life.
It's completely terrifying, but it's so exciting. He said I was brilliant and I could change the world. So many places